In today's video, we're going to delve into the devastating blow that the Sixers need to avoid after their big $269 million move and whether or not they'll renew Ben Simmons' contract for the upcoming season. Along with this, we'll also discuss the recent video Simmons conveniently uploaded showing off his shooting skills and 3 potential landing spots for Rajon Rondo. The devastating Simmons blow Sixers must avoid after big $269 million move and fans reacting to recent video Simmons uploads. Joel Embiid has agreed to a 4-year supermax contract extension with the Philadelphia 76ers, which will mean he will stay with the team through the 2026-27 season. The agreement is worth $196 million, with Embiid's total contract now totaling $196 million. He's now set to earn $261 million. When the news broke, all eyes were on teammate Ben Simmons, who's been the subject of trade rumors throughout the offseason. The big question still remains. What does this mean for Ben Simmons? The offseason has been dominated by speculation that the Sixers would part ways with their star-studded trio, which included Embiid, Simmons, and Tobias Harris, after the franchise failed to reach the NBA Finals for the second time in 3 years. Simmons greatly underperformed in the playoffs, going completely off on offense and putting up one of the worst free throw performances in NBA postseason history. After being defeated by the Atlanta Hawks in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference semifinals, Embiid made a not-so-subtle dig at Simmons. Man, I'll be honest, I thought the turning point was, when I don't know how to say it, but I thought the turning point was just we had an open shot and we had one free throw and we missed the other. He came down and scored, Embiid said, talking about Simmons. Embiid is recommitted to the Sixers, the only team he has ever played for since being drafted 3rd overall in 2014. Simmons' future is unknown, as is whether moving him was a condition of Embiid's resignation. In reality, the Sixers were looking to move Simmons long before Embiid agreed to his extension, so it's unlikely to make much of a difference. Philadelphia will continue to press for a trade before the start of the season, but Sixers president of basketball operations, Daryl Morey, will not make a deal just to make a deal. According to The Athletic's Rich Hoffman, Morey is willing to work through an awkward situation with Simmons in exchange for a better trade. That means that even if there is friction between Embiid and Simmons, it's unlikely that it'll force Philadelphia to make a move that is not in line with what it wants in return. As a result, Philadelphia will be more cautious than ever before to make the right decision, even if that means bringing Simmons back, trying to get him playing well again in order to increase his trade value. Fans reacting to recent video Simmons uploads. Every summer, Philadelphia 76ers star Ben Simmons posts workout videos that show his improved range, making NBA fans hopeful that he has finally addressed his biggest weaknesses. The offseason of 2021 is no different, but this time NBA fans aren't buying the hype. The Sixers point guard was spotted working out with NBA stars like John Morant, Aaron Gordon, Darius Bazley, Tyrese Maxey, and Jaren Jackson Jr. during the latest Chris Johnson Hoops game in Los Angeles. Surprisingly, Simmons' shooting was on point, including a couple of long-range shots. His stroke looked great as well, which would have been enough to get people excited about his off-season work. While it's tempting to overreact and get excited, the problem is that this isn't the first time we've seen something like this. A few weeks ago, Simmons was spotted draining catch-and-shoot throws with Rajon Rondo, prompting predictable jokes. However, the NBA world has watched the Simmons shooting workout video offseason after offseason, with no discernible difference ever seen when the games actually began. Last season, Simmons attempted 10 three-pointers and made 3. He only made 2 of the 7 attempts the previous season. Prior to that, he was 0 for 17 in his first 2 seasons in the league. The timing of the video spreading like wildfire is also suspicious, especially given that the Sixers are attempting to trade Simmons for a high price. Is he being hyped up on purpose to show that his shooting woes aren't a big deal? It's conceivable. However, NBA fans would prefer to see him perform in games rather than just pickup games. Of course, this offseason has a different vibe after Simmons' nightmare playoffs with the Philadelphia 76ers. Following Simmons' postseason struggles, both he and the Sixers are reportedly considering a split. However, the divorce may take longer than expected, with Sixers shot caller Daryl Morey and company content to wait until they get a trade that makes sense for them. According to the most recent reports, Simmons will most likely still be a Philadelphia player when training camp begins. It's difficult to blame the NBA faithful for the relentless shaming of the Sixers playmaker. Simmons has a lot to prove, especially after his poor performance in the 2021 playoffs. It remains to be seen whether he remains with the Sixers at the start of the 2021-22 NBA season. But one thing is certain, all eyes will be on him as he attempts to prove his doubters wrong. As you can imagine, social media has had a lot to say following Simmons' conveniently timed upload. One user shared to their Twitter account a meme of Ben Simmons and his mindset when posting these videos to try and hide his horrible performance during the on-season. Along with the meme, the caption read, "Ben Simmons still sucks." Another user shared a very blunt reaction with a caption that said, "I promise if anyone retweets or praises that video of Ben Simmons bawling, you're getting unfollowed," followed by a slap. Following this, one user shared a funny tweet writing, "You know it's August when the Ben Simmons shooting videos come out." Another user shared to her social media account with a caption that said, "There aren't many consistencies in life, but one thing we know we can always count on is annual Ben Simmons' off-season propaganda." As you can see, these videos don't have the same impact anymore, especially since he never seems to be able to perform like that when it counts the most. 3 potential landing spots for Rajon Rondo. Rajon Rondo always seems to find his way to championship contenders. The veteran point guard is one of the only 2 players in NBA history to have won championships with both the Lakers and the Celtics. And after a disappointing stint with the Hawks, he was on the verge of adding a 3rd ring to his collection after being traded to the Los Angeles Clippers in the middle of the season. Rondo is now back on a non-contender, though it doesn't appear that he'll be with one for much longer. Rajon Rondo is on his 4th team in a year, having won a championship with the Los Angeles Lakers just 1 season before. Rondo's tenure with the Clippers didn't exactly produce the results they hoped for, as he averaged just 4.2 points and 3.8 assists in 16.9 minutes across 13 playoff games, falling out of the rotation in the Western Conference Finals. And now that he's on a young Grizzlies team, his future with the team already appears to be in doubt. The Clippers sent Rondo to the Memphis Grizzlies in exchange for Eric Bledsoe, another veteran point guard. The Grizzlies were primarily motivated by the acquisition of Patrick Beverley, whom they later traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves in exchange for a former lottery pick, Jarrett Culver. The Clippers included Rondo in the deal to get rid of his $8 million salary and to clear a spot on an overcrowded roster. The arrival of Rondo in Memphis makes sense as a veteran mentor for the young guards in a crowded backcourt that includes Ja Morant and Tyrus Jones, as well as plenty of options at shooting guard. But as Drew Hill of the Daily Memphian reports, the roster logjam could see Rondo elsewhere by opening night. At this point in his career, attempting to make his way onto a contending team makes sense. The Grizzlies currently have 19 players on their roster and will need to reduce it to 15 by opening night, making Rondo a strong candidate for a buyout, as his salary makes finding a suitable trade partner difficult. The legend of playoff Rondo didn't quite take off with the Clippers, but he'll no doubt have plenty of suitors vying for a title if he gets a buyout from Memphis. And there you have it, everything you need to know about the devastating Simmons blow Sixers must avoid after a big $269 million move, along with 3 potential landing spots for Rajon Rondo. Make sure to let us know what you thought down in the comments. Are you a Ben Simmons fan, or do you simply think he's hugely overhyped? If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss any of our new and upcoming content. Thanks for watching.